In this video, I'm going to shoot a little bit more than I normally do. I'm going to kind of walk through each spot that we fish, whether we catch fish or not, and just kind of explain why we thought it would be a good spot and how we're going to fish it, how we're going to approach it. And I just thought I'd kind of walk through what is a normal day in Southwest Florida.
Well, this time of year, when you've got fish pulling in from offshore, there's big redfish coming in to spawn. So we're just going to look for deeper water closer to the passes.
I set some traps the other day that we just pulled. So you can see we got enough pinfish to kind of get our day started. I expected probably run into some bait, so I'm not too worried about getting pilchards or greenbacks right now. We've got enough pinfish to get our day started. Another thing I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to walk through all of my gear. I keep getting asked, what's your normal, well, there's one guy, but he asked, it was a couple years ago, so Dr. Davis, I know you're in medical school and you asked this, but I asked to kind of walk through my gear. And so I just want to prove to the listeners that I do listen, I do take feedback and, you know, put that content on here.
And you can see that we are pre-sunrise. Sunrise is actually in 12 minutes. We got out nice and early, got out to the traps. We emptied the pinfish traps, and now we're going to try and go put a day together.
And one thing is really important, we have zero expectations.
Yes.
Never have high expectations, the surest way not to catch fish. But my favorite month to fish, October, Southwest Florida. Let's get after it. Okay, we're at spot number one. So we're just gonna fish some docks, and you can see the tide is really ripping this way. So we're gonna put the boat up current, so we're gonna cast into the dock. The fish should be looking this way with the current, and our baits then will also kind of trickle down into underneath this dock. The tide's ripping a lot harder than I expected. I just thought I'd show something real quick on my rod setup. So I'm gonna go with the heavy rod because we're fishing dock and structure. This is a medium heavy Stellar Lite rod from Star. I've got a 5,000 Penn Battle 3 reel, and this is just my dock setup. And what I like to do is when I show up, when I get my gear ready during the week, I don't tie a hook to it. I get my leader on, in this case it's 50 pound, and I don't want to put my rig on because I want to match the conditions. So all I'm going to do is go with my heaviest weight in this case. See if I can hold in this current. Normally I wouldn't fish this heavy a weight on a knocker rig, but the conditions call for it. And I'm gonna go with a 3/0 hook. We're fishing pinfish. That ought to do it. Tie a little loop knot here. Trim this and I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm ready to fish, and I've got a setup that's perfect for my conditions. So I'm gonna drop a pinfish on that. I want to mention real quick, if you see this box, I'm in love with this company. This is Busby. If your Facebook's anything like mine, these ads come across every frickin' day, but I love this. It's configurable, so you can see I just went with the small ones, and I got hooks in there. I was able to write on there. Keep everything perfectly sorted. I kind of wish it was one bigger so I could have a little bit more room for some weights, but I'm in love with this. You'll probably see me talking about this company a little bit on my channel. Not sponsored again, but looking. Can I say that, Jeff? Hey, I'll pimp myself out. If you're not pimping, you're not trying. Little peanut, I want to go a little bigger. Yeah, I'm gonna drop some tips in this video. One real quick one when you're holding onto a pinfish is put your hand over its bungholio. Can I say that? You know what I mean? Because they will make a mess on you when they're feeling a little bit upset. And when you put the hook through, you want to get a little bit of cartilage. You don't want all lips, but you also don't want to brain them. So that went through perfect. It looks great. All right, there's our pinfish. Let's get them out there. Just a standard knocker rig. Since this is a tips video, Jeff, I'll throw out, I like that you don't have the net ready, because that's the only way to hook a big one. You get that net ready, nothing. Forget about it. So this is kind of a good example of having a couple of spots in your early plan. and as your day unwinds. But the spot lock's holding at a number 8. And even if we hook a fish right there, it's gonna go this way. It's gonna go downhill, or it's gonna go with the current. And this is gonna be a tough place to fish. So I'm gonna go really heavy gear. We'll just give it probably we'll give it a couple of tries here and see, but this might not be fishable. We might have to go to our plan B. All right, it's definitely flowing. Even with that heavy weight, I can't keep it stuck. There's a better cast. So it's gonna just bounce along there. I would rather it sit there and let the fish have time, but it's not happening. Cut bait might be better because when they're kicking around, they're grabbing that current. All right. I'm 100% sure there's fish here. I'm not 100% sure that we can get bait at them. The tide is just on the down cycle. We've got about an hour before bottom of tide, so all the fish have been sliding down. In fact, I just saw something jump right there. See that there's bait fish trying to get away. Oh yeah, baby. Throwing darts. There's way more tide here than I was expecting. All right, I'm going. I got my drag set pretty heavy because I'm fishing such structure here. I'm glad we didn't bet on that first spot because I'd have lost money. That spot has been bit, but that's why you got to have spots on spots on spots. You can look at the tide chart, but you got to go there and assess it. You know, the tide was ripping much harder than we expected, so that's why we're bailing out of there. I think we hit that spot for maybe 20 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes, and didn't see any life. So off to the next spot. And we're gonna work another dock. Hopefully we'll find a little less tide on it and see if we can pull something up there. But I said I was gonna go through the good and the bad.
Yep.
Yeah, here's the tide.
You would not think that there would be a raging tide at that point in the tide cycle. She was
the Minnekota was on 8, and I think anything over 5 is ripping pretty hard. So you got to find back eddies and other spots. Just hold your bait. There'll still be fish there, but you know, you've got to present a bait to them to eat it. So that's part of the equation, right, sir?
indeed.
So all right,
Another quieter spot.
let's go to spot number 2.
Let's go.
So this pinfish is getting tired. I want to go to cut bait anyway. I do think when you're in high current situations, it's best to, I think cut bait's a little better just because this guy can kick around and get his fins in the current. Hopefully the YouTube police won't shut that down, but that's a quick job on how I stake a pinfish. Try not to stake your fingers. But there you go, that's a perfect piece of bait. And it's a good way to get kind of a second life out of a pinfish here. Not his, of course. Sure, it's a little cruel, but if you've seen my pinfish story, you understand how I feel about these guys. And yeah, a pinfish almost killed me once. It's a true story. It's a good example of how I like to fish cut bait for pinfish right there. So we're dealing with some pretty dirty water, so we're getting a little closer to structure. I'm gonna throw it there and I expect it to just kind of bounce down a little bit. So true story here on Canal Life. We literally just said, hey, let's go. I reeled in my cut bait and this redfish smoked it on the way in. Moving cut bait, Jeff. Maybe that's what we got to do today. Anyway, this is a nice slot red, I bet.
That's a keeper.
I'm not keeping fish today, but that's a good one. So that is really weird. This fish hit way out in the deeper water. There's I don't know, we're probably in 5 feet right here, and we were fishing obviously up in this dock, and boom.
There you're at just over 20 inches. Nice little red.
So this fish is lucky that we're both traveling next week. Lively bugger.
Went the right way.
That was pretty weird. This morning's off to a weird start, so what can I say? But we are going to go hit another spot, and totally different style of spot, so I'll talk through that when we get over there. So Mike Tyson famously stole my quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. We just got punched in the face on that first spot.
Yeah, we did pull one out. Davey for the win there at the 11th hour.
Definitely, but we got the day started, so
Get a little further from the pass.
So we're gonna get a little bit. We're gonna try a totally different area and see if that does it for us.
Good?
Yep. This is a pretty cool example of the Florida Marine Tracks card that Jeff has. I have the same card in my boat, and it runs on Simrad, but you can see here we're fishing an oyster bar. It's low tide, so you can see the oysters are sticking out of the water, but a lot of times they're underwater, and it really shows clearly what the oysters look like. But a cool thing about this is obviously some area that you don't want to be messing around with. You'll damage your lower unit if you don't know what you're doing. You can see there's really no danger buoys here. And if you're on these red tracks, this is the track at low tide. It allows you to really allows you to navigate with some confidence in a spot like this. This is a spot we fish a lot, so we kind of know it, but just thought I'd show Florida Marine Tracks. Absolutely in love with that product. It's really changed the way I boat here in Southwest Florida.
The 4K satellite imagery on this is just outstanding. And when you want to punch in on it, you can see the structure of the oyster bar, you can see where the pockets are. It really doesn't matter anywhere along here, but that's structure that I would not normally see.
Well, this is what it looks like. All right, so this is my standard rod. This is the rod I've just come to really love the most when fishing inshore, and especially specifically for fishing live bait. So this is a Stellar Lite from Star Rods. It's a 7-foot, 8 to 17 pounds, and it's a 1/4 to 3/4 ounce lure weight. And the reason why I said this is best for live bait is because the action on this rod is it's not super fast. The tip isn't as whippy as you might want if you're pitching like a paddle tail or a plastic. Well, the reason I use this for live bait, typically I'm using a knocker rig or I'm free lining, but you can pitch live bait with this perfectly, and I love this action when fighting bigger fish. This reel is a reel that I've really become to love, and it's cost me some money loving this reel because they don't give them away. This is a Daiwa Saltist MQ 4000. This reel is paired perfectly, I believe, with this rod. 4,000 weight's great for bigger fish. You could get away with a little bit smaller reel, maybe. I wouldn't though. Go with the 4,000. When you're hooked into a 30-incher, you're gonna be glad you got that. I started out fishing with Penn Conflicts, and I really do like Penn Conflicts, but they started to jam up on me after a couple years of use. And when I studied a replacement reel, the reason I went with the Daiwa is because they're much more sealed. Now you're paying for that, but this reel should last a lot longer than the Penn Conflict. And I gotta say, it looks killer. This is diamond braid, and I absolutely just love the look of it. I know that's not helping me catch fish, but you know, the chicks dig it. So I love the blue on the blue, and this is my setup right here. Jeff, you turned me, so now we're not in the sun anymore. Sorry. You know, I was filming over here, trying to make a movie. Little tiny pinfish. Does size matter? That's the question we all ask ourselves. We'll find out. This is a little feller. The thing I love about fishing a spot like this is you can actually fish 2 rods. So I'm gonna get a second rod set up and I'll show you how I do that. So I just showed you my favorite setup for inshore. This is what I used to fish a lot, and this is a great setup. All right, so this is a Penn Conflict III. It's a 4,000 size. Say the top manufacturers, Penn, Shimano, and Daiwa, all kind of have the same numbering structure. A 4,000 on each is about the same size. But I usually fish 4,000s for snook and red and 2,500s for trout and snapper. And I've got plenty of snook and reds on the 2,500. It's a lot of fun, but it is a little bit undersized. We're in the fall, there's a lot of big fish around right now, so I'm gonna leave the 2,500s to the trout and fish a little bit bigger rod. I grew up in Minnesota, and when I fished there, I fished mainly walleyes, and I just fell in love with St. Croix as a company. Back then they had a lifetime warranty on their rods. I think it's changed a little bit, but they still do warranty their rods, although you do have to ship it to them. One beautiful thing about the Star rods that I showed is you can literally just bring them into Bass Pro Shops here in Fort Myers, and they'll just hand you another star rod. It's pretty incredible. I have heard that they're getting a little more picky on it, but I don't have personal experience there. But this is the internet, Jeff. I don't need personal experience. So anyway, this is a Shimano Avid Inshore rod. Now this rod, in my opinion, is too expensive. This is why I went away from these rods. I actually broke a bunch of different St. Croix. At one time I had 4 rods in for service, and it's because I was high sticking the rods. They were just too brittle. They were my walleye rods, and they just weren't handling braid well. So they called me and said, hey, instead of sending you back 4 Lite, you want to upgrade to the Inshore Avid? And I was like, sure, I'll give them a try. And I've had these rods now for a couple years, and they've not broken. So this rod's working great with the way I'm fishing. The reason why I just think it's too expensive is because the star rods are about half the cost. Any idea what the cost is on star rods, Jeff?
About 120 bucks a pop.
Yeah, that star rod I showed you is about 120, and I believe this is right around 200. I'll put the prices of the rods I'm using right here. But it's a great setup. It's working well. This reel is not sealed as well as the Daiwa that I showed you. So, you know, I do service them. I bring them into Layers Economy Tackle. And a quick funny story I'll throw out there is I brought it in. It was all seized up. I couldn't even turn the crank. And I go, do you got a special secret? You know, they're older guys, Jeff. They got secrets on everything. You know, and you go to some old guys, you expect to get some wisdom. And so the guy goes in the back of the store and he comes out with a rubber mallet and he just starts to wind up. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a true story. And he said, you wanted a secret, didn't you? And he just smashed it with a rubber mallet. And sure enough, it broke it loose, didn't damage it at all. And anyway, again, not sponsored by Layers Economy Tackle, but if you're in Southwest Florida, that's my favorite spot. And it's because they're just some cool guys in there, and it's super well equipped. All right, back to the rig here. All right, so I rig these rods up during the week, and what I always do with my Inshore rods is I always put 30-pound leader on. That way I know exactly what it is. I might have rigged them up weeks ago and not grabbed that rod, but I know for sure this is 30-pound mono. About a year ago, I switched from fluorocarbon to mono just because of the cost. And it seemed like a lot of the influencers are online, actually it was Saltstrong, that did a study on mono versus fluorocarbon. And what they showed was the fluorocarbon is a great line for abrasion resistance until it's been stretched hard. Once it's been stretched hard, it really loses some of that abrasion resistance. Because of that, I've switched to mono. It's a lot cheaper, and it's been serving me great. So I don't have this rigged up again. I don't like to do it. I like to leave it just like this with a rubber band, so now I can pull this off and get rigged up. So it's enough talking. Let's fish. Another thing I do during the week is I usually leave this box kind of sitting on my desk, and I do that just to make sure I refill it. It's amazing how much stuff you can go through on a hard day out here. I'm going to actually pick a heavier weight than normal because I want to cast this as far as I can, and we're casting into the wind, unfortunately. So, all right, I'm going to do a loop knot, so it's half hitch. With a little bit smaller pinfish, I think a 2-aught is the way to rock. And every couple months, I just take all my hooks out and resort them. All right, perfect little loop. Through and hold it. 1, 2, 3. It just becomes muscle memory. One trick I want to show on a loop knot real quick when you pull it here. I'm not super satisfied with that loop. It's a little big. If I pull on my tag end, I can reduce that loop size. Perfect. That's really more important when you're fishing artificial, but in this case, I want to go with just a little standard loop like that. Trim it off and let's get fishing. All right, I need a volunteer. Ooh, yeah, let's go a little bigger. These aren't the siziest pins. Same routine. Didn't quite get them where I wanted them. Boom, right there. All right. Jesus, that was pure shite. Again, loosen my drag just a little. I don't need it rocking. Trap set. We're gonna make a small little move here. Grab a little breakfast. I'll put the recipe in the description. Just a simple little concoction, Jeff. Yeah. It takes me seconds to put this together. So the reason we're moving is honestly because of the wind. We can't cast far enough So we got right to the spot that we wanted to. Normally on an oyster bar, you want the flow to come at you, so you want it to go over the oyster to the filter and the fish be on the backside.
Basically, we don't want to be in the grass.
This thing going.
Why you put a game plan together with 12 spots, and if they don't pan out, you just run and go, baby.
We're already at 10 o'clock, and I think this is going to be spot number 3 or 4. All right. We got to a new spot, and this is just kind of a area, it's mangrove area with some deep water. All right, I got a grunt on, and grunts usually start squawking. They got a strange defense mechanism, which is making distress noises, which usually makes some pretty good bait. Just a quick update, this tidewater draft's what, Jeff? This tidewater draft's about 18 inches, and Jeff thought he'd bring us in about 17 inches of water here. So we are officially stuck, but we're not really concerned. My driver's license says I'm 185 pounds, so if I were to jump out, that would lift the boat just enough to get us out of here. So definitely not concerned, but we're very, very shallow, and we're seeing fish spook up in here. I just missed one. That don't get bit, there's no fish here. Sometimes when you risk it for the skinny water, you know? Yep. Yeah, we're on, baby. We were kind of sneaking out of here, and Jeff saw some fish from the bow. I was like, hey, let's stop. Never fished here before. Maybe it's a catfish. Oh, it's a cat. Yeah. We're killing it, Jeff. We're crushing it out here. That's not what we're seeing jumping. It's a pretty good one. All right, we got some depth. Jeff's gonna engage shallow water operations. Your boat's way up there. All right, so what Jeff did there is he had jack plate up, motor trimmed down, hard turn, he got it. Did I got that right? Yep. Shallow water takeoff. We're still probably in about 2 feet of water, but we're just drafting 18 inches. We're hoping to run with some bait today, and sure enough we did. These would be great chummers. We could turn these also into snappers. Have plenty of snook on bait this size. Works. Holy shnikes, dude, if you get a pancake. What size net do you have here, Jeff?
An 11-foot black pearl with a 3/8 mesh. This is what you want.
Well, it'll keep us busy.
Oh, butterfish, look out.
Let me go get the butterfish tool. That, as a fisherman, is pretty sexy. You notice how I'm fishing and Jeff was getting paid, so it's kind of weird. All right, well, we got pilchers, and I just wanted to whack a quick trout just for, there we go, there's one. A lot of times when you find trout, you find a whole pot of them, and they're all the same size, and these are not world beaters. These guys can get up to 26. Hey, that was I hope the video got that one. These guys can get up to, you know, 25 inches to be a real big one, but that's short of 25. Oh yeah, this is your rod and your bait, and your boat. Thanks for catching all that bait, by the way, Jeff.
Happy to help, brother.
Well, I found the trout. All right, since I caught them all, you can go. Yeah. I'm gonna cut the film here. We don't need to see this. Throw it up as far as you can, and you just reel it back. That's all you do. That's the secret to fishing a spoon. I know there's nuances to it, but landed. How many is it?
20.
Nice solid fish, 20 incher. So as I said earlier, I like a little bit smaller rod when I'm throwing artificial. And in this case, I got another star rod. This is a Stellar Lite SG61-4, 7 foot. It's a 6x14 weight. And I just love this rod for throwing. I'm throwing an aqua spoon here. Is really ideal. It's got a little bit of whip to the end. You can really throw it a long way. And I got it paired with another Daiwa Saltist. This is a 2500 size. Really nice combination here. So I've had these rods for better part of 4 years, and they're just workhorses. I use them every single time I'm out. I've always got something to throw on this rod, just in case you see surface splashes or something like that. I want something I can grab real quick and throw. School of Jacks come by. Just messing around with something here. But anyway, it's always good to have a throw rod ready, and this is mine. And in this case, I always have 20-pound leader monofilament hooked up to it. But I can really throw this spoon a long way. What are you hooked up on? Big bluefish?
No, this is a jack.
Jacks?
But there's mackerel in them.
Oh yeah, there's a whole school swimming with Jeff's jack. If I can get a bait on them, they'll eat me.
Just pitch out here and reel it as fast as you can to the surface.
So something we did here, I mean, I'm shooting a video that's just kind of like what our day is. So the morning didn't work out the way we really wanted it to. And so we came over here, and namely to look for some white bait, which we found. Jeff threw twice, and the live was full. But while he was doing that, I was just throwing a spoon around, and there's usually trout here. It's just a big old grass flat. It's a really nice area. I don't know if I've ever caught a jack here, but I probably have. But anyway, it's a great way to just kind of mix up your day if you're starting to get a little bit bored and feeling like, you know, you're waiting for the tide to change. Come over to a grass flat, throw a spoon around. I'm throwing an Aqua Dream. You're throwing probably a 1/4 ounce silver minnow. They all work the same. And mix your day up a bit. I'm going super fast here. We'll see if that gets him going. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was swimming as fast as he could. Oh, God dang it. One thing too, I mean, it's obvious we're missing a lot of fish. They'll hit these spoons and they just don't always get them. So it's a great bait to search out. Like if we switched over to gulp shrimp or something like that, we'd really put a lot of trout in the boat. And it's weird, you know, here we got this massive grass flat, but they'll definitely school up in a pocket or on a ridge, on a line, something like that. You got to look for them a little bit. You can't just go to any grass flat and start throwing. You got to move around a little bit. Once you find them, you can stay on them. I think we kind of drifted off these. All right, well, that was a good time. Just got you know, I don't know, I got 4 or 5 fish. Jeff got one really nice one, so that's
good stop.
Yeah. So for the first time today, this is what we thought would happen. We went to a spot, we found the bait we thought would be there, and then we found some trout that we thought would be there, and we lucked into a big trout. So that was cool. Cool stop. And now we got the tides incoming the rest of the day, and so we're going to change our game plan, fish some incoming spots. That last spot got a little skinny, so let's not do that again. But good thing Jeff's a big guy. All right, let's go put that white bait to work. Spot hop. I don't know how many spots we're on. So this is a spot that there's just some structure out here in a little bit. What depth of water are we in?
12 feet.
12 feet. And it's always good to be running your electronics when you're buzzing around because there's just a little bump here. 12 feet, and there's always fish here. I haven't caught a mackerel here in a while, but they are here a lot. Yeah, I'm getting hit. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, ladyfish almost jumped in the boat, Jeff. That would have been pretty cool. There we go. Now we're on the board with a lady. Stuff happens when you're rolling film. Now that yours counts as a catch. I'll give you that one. Well, you almost did just leave the well open. Oh, there. I got a feeling we won't run out of finding them here. I think the spoon might be a little more effective way to do it just because they're grabbing it. And... All right, lady on the hook. So these are, oh, Jeff, I wasn't screwing around. That wasn't camera work.
I know.
Oh, I was just about to explain why I like ladyfish so much, but the one thing I don't like is they are escape artists. Look at that. Oh, jeez. It's gotta be, it's so fast. Yeah, just a normal day in Southwest Florida, Jeff. Little Spanish mackerel, nice fatty. Yeah, there he cut me. These things will cut you so quick. Do you want to save him for cut bait? Used to be able to count on your partner. Look at how lucky I was. He cut me right at the boat.
Yep.
Fun fish. So that was a thick one too. We still don't have one of these in the box. There we go. Unbelievable. Coming in hot. Hey! We've learned that we got to go to the bottom of the boat. So if you don't see it, Jeff's squeezing them just a little bit, just to kind of slow them down.
That one landed in the open line well.
So I got that on video. You're saying that was intentional?
I'm not saying that whatsoever.
Sure. All right, so there's a couple ways to hook these. Belly hook or nose hook. I'm gonna do nose on this one. A little cartilage right there. You can just kind of pop it through and it'll stay on there real good. So I mean, Southwest Florida can give you a lot of different stuff. What a fishery. And we're not having a great day, by the way. We're having fun. So something about fishing out here you always got to think about is the weather, especially, you know, we're in early fall. This is the first week of October. We're still in hurricane season. Helene went through a while ago. We got super lucky with that. That's not my point. But my point is, you always got to be on the lookout for thunderstorms, and the temperatures are kind of dropping. So we go check the radar quick, and it looks fine right now. It does not look fine there. So we do not want to be in the canal.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, so it's saying 3, but it's a pop-up, so who knows? These aren't well forecasted. So what we're gonna do is we're loaded with bait. I mean, we have more bait than we need, which is a great place to be. We're gonna actually go fish some spots that are closer to home just in case this does pop up. We can get back in the canal and
be safe.
So that does look like thunder to me, or that looks like a storm that's probably got some lightning in it. So no sense being out here in the middle of Pine Island Sound when we can be catching snook over close to home. So that's a swap out we're gonna make, but that's fishing Southwest Florida.
Let's roll.
All right, so we moved a little bit. We're closer to home. As you can see, it's getting darker. So, yeah, they're over there. See the foam? Yeah. So we threw some chum in. Standard technique. I'm fishing a pinfish, Jeff. You're fishing a small pilcher, right?
Yeah.
So, water's kind of moving this way. We're trying to find them up against this. Trying to find them up against this bush here. And I feel like they should be there. Pretty classic little wing spot, wing dam, but I don't know. Definitely some snook jumping over there. I might try to long cast it over there. So that was a little bit of a hero cast. One thing I'm going to do, I know this is in a beautiful spot. I just saw a fish jump. I'm going to leave it in Rodney. Something unique to Southwest Florida is if you let the rod sit in Rodney, open up the Coors Light, if the mountains are blue, which these were, trust me, you have better luck. Whoa. Jesus. See the pound in that thing got? Snook for the slam. He might have it. See how my line's starting to move a little bit? But he sure hit it aggressively. Yeah, there's a fish there. See, I can feel just a little bit of weight. Yep, he's there. Yeah, that's how we do it. Southwest Florida magic. I don't know what this is. It's decent though.
Snook.
Oh, snook. So if I land this, if Jeff were to help with the net, it will be my slam. So for a slow day, oh Jeff, I am tangled with you, sir. Untangled. All right, so that was just on a pinfish. We got cut ladyfish out too. This is not the one we saw jumping. Slam! Yeah, Jeffrey.
Attaboy.
It's a solid fish. Solid fish. All right, baby.
Good, the kick.
The little snooky kick. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Again, I told you what the secret was. Slam! 23. Let's try to get some more. That's a beautiful fish. I'm really happy about that. I love these fish. Oh, feisty one. He put up a good fight too.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. All right, well, I wanted to shoot a video on just kind of a normal late summer, early fall day here in Southwest Florida, and I think I did it. It was a pretty typical day.
Checked a lot of boxes.
Could have caught a little more fish, but we lost a few, got a few. Had a good day. I got a slam.
Sneaky little inshore slam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
One red, one snook. I don't want to talk about my losses because, you know, after the editor of this, I don't want people to know I lose today. But I lost a good one. You lost a good one. That's pretty normal day. Now we're getting kicked off by weather.
Yeah.
So, oh, and we just found out we have Hurricane Milton coming our way.
Day in the light.
So that's how you do it. Yeah, you know. So we got a canal beer.
Local brew today, the Palm City Brewing Company from Fort Myers, Florida. Shout out to the locos. Little hazy IPA.
Now, for the record, I didn't necessarily bring this as a canal beer because when you called me and said, let's go fishing, you said I'll bring bevies.
I did. I did specify mine were not alcoholic.
This was supposed to be a nooner.
I should have been. That tastes a little better. Oh yeah. Way to finish off a typical Southwest.
We're not happy. We're not getting soaked yet.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that'll get us home. I'm gonna stop over at number 3 and stock up. I'm getting a little low.
Cheers to a good day fishing.
Yeah, cheers. Well, I wanted to shoot a Florida video, and I did. This is what it looks like when Jeff dropped me off. Oh, we left just in time for me. He might get a little wet. All right, and that's a wrap. That's Southwest Florida in a day.